We are live for another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and today we're going to be breaking down Noche UFC. And honestly, it's a banger of a card. We have 14 fights, a bunch of people making their UFC debut, some great debutants. We have the ultimate finale for We have the finale for the Ultimate Fighter season 33 between Rodrigo, Sezinando, and Donchenko. We'll be talking about that in a second because it's the first fight of the card, and I'm super hyped because finally we have a decent Ukrainian possibly making it to the UFC. And yeah, super fun card. 14 fights, which I was pretty surprised at. They're trying to give us more fights, which is good. And just so you guys know, this is in Texas, not in Mexico, because I didn't know until like yesterday. But it is Noche UFC. And yeah, we can get right into it. No real do I have a recap to do? Oh, I guess of last week, right? Last week we had... Yeah, let's go through that real quick. So this past weekend, we had UFC Paris. It was a very back and forth card for me. Some good reads, some not so good reads. I had Harry Hardwick plus 170 for a unit, and then his round 3 and round 2 KO props. He got cooked early. I kind of knew that was a possibility. I just felt like he'd be able to survive and, take over in 2-3, but his legs were just way too cooked. You saw he tried really hard, but he didn't have it. And then Renat came through a plus 125, killed Gustafsson, and it's sad because I do like Gus, but I felt like he shouldn't be the favorite, and that appears to be true. Then I had Kai Barallo. That was my big bet of the night, 2.5 units at minus 125. I was this close to going really heavy on that bet, and I'm really grateful that I didn't because he did not look anything near what I expected. I don't know if it was like maybe it was the two weight cuts in a row because he was the backup for UFC 319. Maybe that kind of had an effect on him. It's possible because he didn't look like himself to me at all, but definitely lost, and it wasn't a good bet. Imavov probably should have been at least a slight favorite. And then I had BSD plus 170 for a unit. Cashed that. Looked great. Ran through Roofy. Roofy, not really the brightest fella. I understand why you might not want, to play the ground game with BSD, but he was on top twice. And BSD is not like a guy throwing up triangles and stuff. Like, you're okay. You can throw some ground and pound. And as someone who backed BSD when Roofy was on top, I was like, damn, he's going to start landing big ground and pound now. And then he just lets him up instead and gets taken down again. And it was like, okay, I'll take it. But yeah, BSD looked good. Then I had a parlay with Hughes and Modestus. They both ran through their opponents, won a unit there. Then I had Jones sub round 2, sub round 3. I didn't play the money line because he's not the brightest cookie in the world. And he almost got deaded in the first. And then after the end of the first round where he almost subbed him too, and I was like, oh my God, please make it to the second. I was like, okay, he's going to get the sub now. And then he just ground and pounds and said Inoki cannot get up. So that sucked, but that's my own fault for not at least taking the money line as well. And then I had one more parlay with Patterson and C, and they also ran through their opponents. So I cashed a unit there. Total profit was 1 unit. After the lottos, it was 0.73. Not really what I'm looking for, but green is green. And then yesterday for Contender Series, I had no plays other than Cam Teague. I knew that bet was screwed the second I saw random accounts that have nothing to do with mixed martial arts posting these fake rain bet slips or cloud bet, whatever it was, just fake slips, posting them. I know how it works because I've had these companies reach out to me before. I've done it for a couple. They send you a slip. They ask you, hey, post this. We'll pay you. And then the last time I did it, they actually didn't even pay me. But that's how I know what they're doing. And they literally did that. And I knew Cam Teague was getting set up. I knew it. After that, I mean, I kind of knew that going into the bet, even before I saw the fake slips. Like, I knew he's probably going to get cooked. But once I saw the fake slips, I knew I was really cooked. And yeah, so I lost a half unit on Cam Teague yesterday. Really crazy night of fights on a Tuesday. Have a new favorite fighter in Asplund. The Dana's Toes comment was kind of crazy, but gotta love it. And yeah, let's hop into this card now. We got Jammer in the chat. What's up, Jammer, my guy? And we got Peter MMA. Spam decisions this card. Maybe. All right, for the first fight of the night, we have the Ultimate Fighter finale. It's going to be Rodrigo Sezinando versus Daniil Donchenko. Sezinando 8-1-0. He's going to be 27, 6 feet tall. Don't have his reach. Donchenko 11-2-0. He's 24, so he's 3 years younger. Very young guy. He's 5'11", so he's 1 inch shorter. And it's a really interesting fight. Two great fighters. I need to tape this one a bit more. I started, but I did not finish. I'm very biased because I'm Ukrainian and I really want a good Ukrainian fighter, and I think Donchenko is good. So there's zero chance I'm betting against him, even if I feel there's value on Sezinando. I just don't want to root against Donchenko here. But from what I've seen so far, like, I am picking him anyways. Bias aside, I just think that his striking is better. I love the dude's striking. He's good in the pocket. He's good at range, good kicks, good combinations with the hands. I love those step-in elbows he was throwing against Dixon. That was a really impressive performance because I do rate Dixon as well. He'll probably make it to the UFC anyway. And what I've seen from him, he's got good takedown defense, good ability to get back up to his feet. Good hand control, fights the hands when he's stuffing the takedowns, uses the underhooks, does everything right. His defense isn't the best. That's a little bit of a concern. Sezinando does have some big shots that he throws. A lot of loopy hooks from him, though. Not a ton of clean combinations. I feel like it's pretty safe to say that Donchenko is the better striker. Sezinando, he does have some solid wrestling. I could see him coming out and maybe grinding out Donchenko, landing those takedowns, maybe threatening a few submissions. But ultimately, I kind of just feel like Donchenko is going to be able to stuff most of it, outstrike him, do more damage on the feet, land the more significant shots, land more shots in general, throw more, mix it up better, and he's got more tools on the feet, in my opinion. So for me, it's Donchenko. I am quite biased, but I'm going to go Donchenko decision. Next up, we have Alice Pereira versus Monsterrat Rendon. Pereira, 5-0, undefeated. She's 19 years old, 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. She's very big for the weight class. This is at bantamweight. Rendon, 6-1-0. She's 36, so she's going to be 17 years older. 17 years older. She's 2 inches shorter, and she's giving up 3 inches in reach. First of all, Pereira is not Alex Pereira's sister, contrary to some Twitter posts that I've been seeing online. Those are not true. I don't know where they came up with it. She's not his sister. His sister is a different woman who's terrible and not a great fighter, at least not in MMA. She's got a good striker, but has no grappling. But with Alice Pereira, I don't know much about her. I taped her. I know that. It's just the tape, there's not much of it. The tape that we do have, it's like on a cell phone, the cell phone footage, bad angles. And again, it's just horrible, horrible competition. Her last fight, she finally went the distance. It's a good thing in that at least we saw the cardio a little bit. She did seem to slow down to me, but she also didn't seem like she was doing a lot. She did win the decision there, but again, the opponent not great. Before that, she's getting finishes over complete nobodies. Like, she seems like she's the goods. She's got good striking, solid striking at least. The output's not great, though. It does seem to carry some power, and she does kind of get a little wild when she's starting to get a little excited. She starts to throw really loopy hooks. Don't love that. And I really don't know much about her counter grappling. Like, her wrestling seems okay. She can get on top, some solid ground and pound. I don't see much of a submission game, but she is training with Jonathan Almeida in that camp. We saw yesterday. One of them looked real great. Sanchez is an animal. And then the other guy, Felipe Franco, if you watch my Contender Series breakdown, you heard me rampage for 10 minutes about how his manager and anybody involved with his career are idiots for the way they were padding his record. Because, like, there's record padding, and then there's Felipe Franco's record, where they were giving him complete nobodies. Like, people who don't train MMA, they put him in the cage with Franco. And we saw how that worked out for them. And I'll leave it at that. So I don't really know how much to rate Pereira, but she's 19 years old. She's got the build for it. She's really tall, really lanky, seems to be solid. And I think she does seem to have a solid ceiling for me. I do think she's going to be improving. And I think she's got the potential to be really good. It's just right now, based off the info I have, I don't have enough, and I don't know. With Rendon, we know what the deal is with her. She's not super athletic, not super explosive or powerful, but she works hard. She works hard in the octagon. She'll grind. She has decent wrestling. She has okay striking. She's quite hittable. When she's on top, she's got solid control, but she's not the most dangerous fighter. Takedown defense seems solid. Not easy to take her down. I do think Pereira maybe could, and it's not like anybody good has really tried against Rendon to take her down. And in the UFC, she fought Vidal, who's horrible, and had a pretty close competitive striking match, at least with her. When she got the takedowns, that's when she had an easier time. And then against Zelezniakova, a little bit less of a close fight. Rendon did land some good takedowns, but on the feet, just got outworked. She's really slow on the feet, not explosive, not the cleanest striker, like I said. So it's just tricky. Like, I think Pereira should win if she does end up being the goods. She does seem to hit hard. She does seem to maybe be a better striker. Maybe she can get her own takedowns, but notice all the maybes. It's because I just don't have a lot of info. It's also entirely possible that she doesn't have any takedown defense. Rendon comes out there, grinds her in the clinch, takes her down with some trips, and is able to hold her down. So I'll pick Pereira just because of the upside at 19 with her size, and she does seem to have the tools at least, but I can't see myself betting her, not at chalk, until I know more at least. Let me catch up with the chat. I see Feed People. What's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Yesterday's fake fighters fight was so wild. Are you talking about the Vidal Franco fight? Because, yeah, that was crazy. Irish, I'm going to be at this card. Fun scraps, even if not. Yeah, I mean, it's not all about the names. Look at Paris. UFC Paris didn't have a lot of crazy names, and it was a sick card. So I think this one's going to be really good, too. John Dong. Can't tell what that emoji is, but what's up, John? Good to see you in here. All right, next up we have Alessandro Costa versus another debutante in Alden, Coria. Costa 14-4-0, 29 years old, 5'4" with a 67-inch reach. Coria, he's going to be 10-3-0, 27. He's 2 years younger, 4 inches taller, and he's going to have the same reach. I really wanted to like Coria, first of all, because he's like plus 350, and you guys know I like my plus 300s, and second off, because I know him. I'm familiar with him. He fights in Fury, trains with Joshua Van, great training partner as a flyweight. So I wanted to like him here. It's just I kind of struggle to see where he's better. Like, where is he going to be really successful in this fight? I don't know. On the feet, like, I have my issues with Costa. His inactivity is the main thing. He just doesn't fight enough. I hate that about fighters. But sometimes there's reasons, and it's not necessarily always a terrible thing. And I just don't love his output on the feet. I feel like he doesn't throw enough. But when I compare the two of them, I feel like Costa's the better striker, better boxing. I think the leg kicks are going to be a really good weapon here. Coria does the right things on the feet. He's got good reactions. He rolls with the shots well, solid defense. And like he'll be competitive on the feet for sure. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because Costa doesn't throw enough for it to be a blowout. But I think Costa's leg kicks are going to be a big weapon for him. I think they're going to work here. And I think the jab is really good on the Costa side. And the boxing overall is very solid. He's a solid wrestler. His takedown defense is very good. Coria's got good wrestling in his own right. I just don't know that he's going to be taking Costa down because I do rate the takedown defense. And I feel like Costa can maybe clinch up Coria as well, keep him there for a little bit. He does seem like the stronger, more physical guy. So for me, I got to lean Costa. I think he could finish Coria, but I'm going to go with a decision. I do think he can finish him, but I'll lean towards a decision because Coria is tough. But for me, it's Costa. I can't play him either at minus, 500, 400. I can't do that. Like, gun to my head, I'd rather take the shot on the dog because he's young. He's liable to improve. He's way more active. He trains with a really good training partner as a flyweight in Joshua Van. And I could see him pulling off an upset if Costa's just not doing enough, but I lean towards Costa getting it done, unfortunately. Next up, we have Zachary Reese versus Sedriques Dumas. Reese 9-2-0, 31 years old, 6'4" with a 77-inch reach. Dumas 10-3-0, 30 years old. He's 1 year younger, going to be 2 inches shorter, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. I don't understand the love for Dumas here. The man literally continues to go to jail. Had to pull out of his last fight because he still had a ankle monitor on. He has $13 in his bank account, and people are using that as saying, like, oh, he's motivated. No, that's why he took the fight. That's why he's taking fights, because he has no money. First of all, that's probably because he keeps getting arrested. And second of all, I don't think that that's enough to say he's going to come out here and beat Zach Reese. Where is he that much better than Zach? Where is he better than Zach Reese, period? Are we going to come out here and pretend that he's going to wrestle Reese because he's this amazing wrestler? Based off of what information is he an amazing wrestler? He barely wrestled my guy, what was his name? Tiyulin. Barely out-grappled him. And Tiyulin, God bless him, he can't grapple. Like, Michal knocking him out, fine, that's okay. The Ruzaboev knockout, like, I guess it's okay. But, like, none of his wins are any good. The Zaitar fight was competitive. The Cody Brundage fight was completely Brundage as being a dummy. Like, Brundage would shoot, be in on a leg, and then just somehow manage to pull guillotine and end up on his back. None of those fights make me think, you know what, Dumas is a live dog a couple months after going to jail again. I just don't understand. And I'm not a big Zach Reese guy either. I usually look to fade the guy. I'm not a huge fan. I'm pretty sure I was on Dusko against him. I think Zach Reese is a better fighter for sure. I think he's a better fighter. I think he's improved. He's shown that he can go 3 rounds. He's done it twice now. One of them was against Medina, who gave him no pushback whatsoever. So going into the Dusko fight, I felt it was fair to say Reese was still untested in the cardio. And maybe you can still say that because Dusko kind of just stopped doing anything after the first round. But I think Reese has decent enough cardio where I don't see him like fading really badly in round 2 or round 3 and having Dumas just take over. And Dumas is super flat-footed. Like, put all the narrative aside, all the things going on in Dumas's personal life. I don't feel like he's any better than Reese anyways. I think Reese is the better striker. I think he has more weapons on the feet. With the kicks, with the knees. I think he's more dangerous in the clinch. I think he's more dangerous, period, both with the jiu-jitsu and the striking. I think he's more live to get a submission or a knockout. And I think he's a better minute winner too. So I don't understand why you would bet Dumas. I certainly will not be betting Dumas. I haven't bet Reese either, but it's something I'm thinking about. I'm not a Dumas fan, and I'm sorry, but him having no money is not going to make me want to bet him anymore. Like, remember when, what was that guy's name? Cool dude, nice guy. Fought Charles Rosa for his last fight. What was his name? Dude was just not good. He was just, people liked him because he was a nice dude. Justin James, right? So Justin James, you guys remember his last fight against Charles Rosa? He like bet all his entire salary on that fight, and people were like, see, he's going to win. Bet on himself. He's going to win. He needs this. And he lost. So he lost his bet, and he got cut. And I feel like that's probably going to happen with Dumas too. I don't really see the path for him. I'm going to go with Reese knockout 1, and that's it. Let me catch up with the chat, and then we'll move on. What's good, Tyler? Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this streaming time will usually never work for me. Today, I was able to work from home. I normally don't have that, so that's why I'm always streaming at night. But today, I was able to, so that worked out. What's up, Moyes? Saying SD Dumas, the greatest philosopher in MMA. The Lion could barely sniff 1-6 Couch Warrior fan favorite. Dennis. Yep, Irish knows me. He knows I love me some Denise Tiulin. And yeah, he barely took him down. Barely. He wrote the greatest stands. Okay. SD Dumas is the most underrated GOAT of MMA. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know why. Like, I understand not wanting to bet Zach Reese. You could just pass. I don't understand wanting to bet Dumas. Next up, we have Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Gurule. Aguilar, 11-3-0, 29 years old, 5'4" with a 62.5-inch reach. Gurule, 10-1-0. He's 31, 5'5", so he's 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 1.5-inch reach advantage. Training over with Royval. I don't know what they're calling their camp or what gym exactly they're at. I just know he's with Royval and not at Factory X anymore. That camp kind of fell apart. Interesting fight. I feel like Gurule should get this done. I guess people are maybe a little bit low on him after the Ode Osborne knockout. Maybe they're more interested in Aguilar because of that. I'm not sure. Like, Aguilar, you can pick worse. Like, you can pick worse underdogs because at least he has that dog in him. He'll fight for your money. He brings it every time. You know, he's not going to just stand there. He's going to try. So, you know, in general, he's not the worst underdog. I don't see much of a path for him here unless Gurule shoots and Aguilar gets his guillotine. I don't really see it. Like, what's Aguilar's process? Come in the fight, throw a few big overhands, hope your opponent shoots and pull guillotine, or you shoot, cause a scramble, then pull guillotine. That's kind of his entire strategy. That's how he functions every single fight, pretty much. His wrestling's fine. It's not bad, but I don't see why Gurule can't stuff the takedowns. Gurule showed great takedown defense against Piccinini, who as a pure grappler, I think he's a much better wrestler than Aguilar. Gurule was able to stuff 10 out of 20 takedowns. He got taken down 10 times, but why did Piccinini need 10 takedowns? because he couldn't hold Gurule down. Gurule's scrambling is really good. You can see that he trains with someone like Royval, who's a really good scrambler. His own wrestling is solid. He's a solid wrestler. I think that if he wants to, he can take down Aguilar. It's just a matter of staying safe, and I think he'll be okay. Again, training with someone like Royval, who's also really tricky in the submission grappling department, I think he'll be okay against Aguilar. Just have to watch the neck. They can get the takedowns, and then on the feet, I just think he's way better. Aguilar's not much of a striker. Against Estevam in the third round, when Estevam was just exhausted, he was starting to land a little bit. But because of his reach, he has nothing at range. His kicks are okay. The leg kicks are fine. I don't see them doing much damage to Gurule, though. And I know he knocked out Shannon Ross. I was there. But come on. That was Shannon Ross, and I don't think Gurule's got a bad chin. I understand he got knocked out by Ode, but Ode's fast, and he's got a lot of power, and he's a clean striker at range, and Gurule got caught. It is what it is. In this fight, I just think Gurule has him covered. I think he has a better cardio, good enough counter grappling to avoid any bad situations, good enough wrestling to dictate where the fight is, and just the better striking. And I think the leg kicks of his will be a good weapon too. So I'm going to go Gurule decision, and we can move on. Kind of surprised this fight's on the prelims. Irish saying, what's worse, the slam KO against Brundage or getting subbed by Josh Fround? I don't think Fremd's bad, but I guess getting subbed by Fremd is maybe worse. Then again, getting KO slammed by Brundage also not the best look. Anyways, we got Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. Suarez 10-1-0. She's 34 years old, 5'5" with a 66-inch reach. Lemos on the other side, 15-4-1, 38, 4 years older, going to be 1 inch shorter, and she's going to have a 1 inch reach disadvantage. So for me, I can understand why people want to bet Lemos. I want to look at this fight a bit more. I only briefly taped it because I didn't have a ton of interest pre-flop. But we'll see. I'm going to tape it a little bit more. I can understand why people like Lemos. She's got solid takedown defense, and if she can keep it on the feet, she's going to be a better striker than Suarez. She's going to hit a lot harder than Suarez. But just because Suarez lost to Wei Li, I'm not ready to throw her out the window. I still think that she's a really good fighter. Now that Wei Li left the weight class, I think she can become champion again. If she's just a little bit more active, that's her problem. She has really bad activity levels. She's not fighting often at all, like once a year most of the time. This will be her second fight this year, which is good. It's a start. But I think that her wrestling is good enough for her. I do think she'll take down Lemos. I don't think Lemos is going to stuff the takedowns. I don't see Lemos taking her down like she did against Lucindo. And I just think Suarez will grind her out. Maybe she gets a sub. I lean towards just a decision. But I do think that Suarez just gets the takedowns. And that's really all it comes down to for me. Like, yeah, if she can't and Lemos keeps on the feet, Lemos very live to win. I just lean towards her, not being able to keep it on the feet. Don't hate the Suarez decision at plus 210 on FanDuel. But I need to tape that one a little bit more. Next up, we have Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Puelles, he's going to be 12-4-0, 29 years old, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. Silva on the other side, 13-5-0. He's 36, so he's 7 years older, 2 inches shorter, and he's going to be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. I have to tape this one more. I haven't taped this one really at all. But for me, gut reaction pre-tape, I lean towards Joaquim Silva. Just feel like he's a better striker with more power. And I don't think that Puelles' wrestling is good enough to get the takedowns against Silva at a really high clip. I think Silva should be able to stuff a lot of it, keep it on the feet, maybe even land his own takedowns and just outstrike Puelles. But he's also on the older side. I feel like he's a little bit washed. And Puelles at 29, he can become better, just because he came out there against it was Hooker and kind of just flopped. Like, okay, like it happens. He fought a guy. It was a big step up for him from Clay Guida to Hooker. And then the Ferreira fight was honestly decently competitive. He was getting the takedowns. I believe I was on Ziem there, and I was a little bit stressed out. So he's a solid grappler. If he can get the wrestling going, and, it's not like Silva's super active on the feet. And he did have a pretty competitive fight with Clay Guida in his own right. I believe that's right there. So, yeah, I really have to tape more before I have much of a take. But as of now, I'll just pick Silva decision as a placeholder. But, again, I need to tape this one. What's up, Drinking No? Thanks. Good to see you in here. All right, we can move on. We're moving quick. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights already, halfway through. Next up, we have Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. Medina, 11-5-0, 34 years old, 6 feet tall with the 74-inch reach. Todorovic, 12-6-0, 31. He's 3 years younger. He's going to be 1 inch taller, and he's going to have the same reach. I do not understand what we're doing here with Medina. We don't sign David McGoyan off a loss, but we're going to pick Medina up off of a loss because he emotes really cool, and that's it. Because he has cool emotes. This is Medina's fighting game. Yeah. Like I was doing my notes today, and I had nothing good to say, so I just won't say it. But like, is Medina a good striker? No. Does he have a lot of power? No. Does he throw a lot of output? No. Does he do anything special on the feet? No. Does he do anything solid on the feet? Not really. Just an okay striker that can beat really low-level competition. And honestly, I think his durability is a little overrated too, but that's a whole nother discussion. And does he have power? No, he doesn't. So I don't really know what he's good at. Is he a good wrestler? No. Does he have good takedown defense? No. Does he have good jiu-jitsu? No. I'm pretty sure in my notes I wrote that his strength is emoting because that's all he does. And then with Dusko, I understand why you would not want to play him, but anytime he's gotten a step down, he's run through them, right? Like, okay, who wins in a fight, Jose Medina or Daquan Townsend? I'd put my money on Townsend because at least he's big and strong. At least he has that going for him. Medina's neither of those things either. He's not big or strong. Maybe if he cut to like 155, but good luck. So anytime Dusko's taking a step down, he's beating them. You know, I think that he can easily outstrike Medina on the feet and won't even be close. Maybe he doesn't have the pure power to just put Medina out, but I'm also not convinced that he doesn't. I think he could. I think he's going to be way better in the clinch. I think the clinch will be easy money for Dusko. And I think the easiest path for him is just take him down. I don't think Medina has any ground game. And I think Dusko could submit him. I think Dusko can ground and pound TKO him. I think Dusko should finish him really quickly. I think he will finish the fight. I think it's going to be ITD. I lean towards like a ground and pound TKO, but I think a submission's on the table too. It's just I struggle to see how Medina wins. You know, you beat Dusko usually because his chin's way up in the air, no defense, and he's chinny. But the hell is Medina going to do about it? Wave at him? Go like this and knock him out? It's possible. Unlikely, though. So for me, it's Dusko. Going Dusko KO, and we're going to go round one. I don't think it's going to take him much time. I guess this was a fun experiment, signing Medina, but I'm fairly certain that he's going to get cut after this weekend. I don't see it. You know, maybe I'm going to have to eat my words, and he's going to come out there and emote, and then Dusko's going to run into something, but I think Todorovic gets it done. He's just a way better fighter. Like, skill for skill, it's not even comparable at all. But all right, we can move on. This is a really fun fight. We have Santiago Luna making his UFC debut against Quang Lee. Santiago, he's 6-0, undefeated, 21 years old, 5'9". We don't have his reach. On the other side, Quang, he's 9-2-0, 33. He's going to be 12 years older. He's going to be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage, and he's got a 70-inch reach. Real quick, catching up with the chat. Thank you, Moise. I appreciate that. Funky Cold Medina, Couch Warrior Lunchtime Edition. What's up, Steven's Picks? Make sure you guys are checking out Steven, too. I know he's putting stuff out there. Medina is elite at blocking pages. Yeah, people forget, man. But all right, so for this fight, I didn't really know what to expect with Luna. I taped this one today. Going into it, I was completely blind. I didn't know about him. I know Quang. I've known him from the regionals, and then obviously we've all seen his 3 UFC fights. He got the win over Bolaños last time out, was able to out-grapple him, get the submission. And it was a good performance, but like Bolaños has no ground game whatsoever. And you look at Luna. Luna's good. Luna's a good fighter. I think he's still a little bit green, and I worry about 21-year-olds, like people this young, backing them at chalk, just because like they make mistakes. And when I look at Luna, there are some things that concern me. Like when he fought the Russian fella, by Duev, he did get stuck on his back for a little bit, but once he tried to get back up, he instantly got back up. So that's good to see. And I do feel like he does slow down a little bit. That's another concern of mine. but it's not like Quang is a pace pusher, and Quang slows down in his own right. So I think he should be okay. And then when you look at the striking, Quang, a lot of big looping shots, right? A lot of hooks. I notice he almost essentially doesn't have a jab at all, which I don't like at all. I'm a guy who, if you jab and you throw body shots, it's about, and have a good 1-2 down the pipe, that's about all I need from you. And then if you wrestle too on top of that, great. There's my dream fighter. But Quang has no jab, like no jab at all. So that's a concern. He's got solid enough kicks. Again, most of the shots are big looping shots. I could see him hurting Luna. Luna sometimes not defending himself super well. Sometimes the hands are a little low. So I could see Quang hurting him. I could see him catching him with a big shot. But do I see him like consistently outstriking Luna over a 15-minute period? Not really. Luna actually throwing straight strikes down the pipe, has a good jab that he works off of well, good clean 1-2, solid kicking game, solid combinations. I think he's much more put together on the feet, and that's saying something because he's still putting it together. He's really a work in progress still, but I do think he's the better, cleaner striker. Quang may be a little bit more powerful, but my other issue with Quang is he doesn't throw enough. His volume is very low, and I don't love that either. Now, can Quang out-grapple him? That's an interesting question. Luna, he does come from a wrestling base. I believe he's like a 4-time national champ over in Mexico. I don't know how good the wrestling scene is in Mexico, but from what I've seen from him, he does seem like a good wrestler. He uses it both offensively and defensively. When he was stuffing the takedowns from the Russian fella by Duev, again, when I'm looking at guys and their takedown defense, I'm not just looking at them stuffing a takedown and saying, good takedown defense. I want to see what they're doing. You know, the most important things, are they fighting the hands? Are they putting in underhooks? What's the deal with their hips? Do they have good hips, good reactions? Because hips are super important in grappling, in wrestling in particular, especially in scrambles. But Luna does all the right things when it comes to stuffing takedowns. So I think he should be okay in the wrestling department against Lee. And if anything, I think he can land his own takedowns too. We've seen good takedown defense from Quang, but I do think he can be taken down. And I think Luna could do that. So I have my concerns backing him. That's why I haven't made a bet, just because he is making his debut. He's 21 years old, really big card. Noche UFC, he's going to want to represent, but I do think he should get it done. It's just, does he choke? It's possible. And it's not like Quang is a bum. He's a good fighter. I just have certain issues with his game, but I could definitely see him pulling off the upset. So going to pick Luna decision, but as of now, I'm staying away. Shout out to my homeboy Quang Lee. Okay. I know he's got a lot of fans, and I can understand it. He's an exciting guy. All right, next up we have Alexander Hernandez making a really quick return after knocking out Chase Hooper as like a plus 400 underdog against Diego Ferreira. Hernandez 17-8-0. He's going to be 32 years old, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Ferreira 19-6-0. He's going to be 40, so he's 8 years older. He's going to be the same height, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. I didn't tape this one yet, but I feel like I know them well enough to be able to talk about it at least a little bit. It's like, look, on one hand, yeah, Hernandez chokes a lot of the time. Hernandez makes mistakes. Hernandez's fight IQ is not great, and Hernandez is very inconsistent. But, you know, Diego's also a little bit inconsistent. Against Michael Johnson, like, he was losing that fight really comfortably. I had him there at chalk, and I was really disappointed. And then in the third round, he knocks out Johnson. It was a great knockout, but it wasn't even like anything super clean. It was just like a big shot he threw. And then he had the Rebecca performance, which, again, I was on the wrong side there. I mean, actually, no, I was on the right side against Johnson. I was on the wrong side in the Rebecca fight. I took Rebecca, and Ferreira just, you know, had the cardio, outlasted him, and then just beat up on him. He's a good striker. Again, also a little bit loopy in his shots, but he can grapple as well. He's not really wrestling very often, and Hernandez does have good takedown defense, so I feel like this fight probably plays out on the feet, because I don't like, Hernandez could probably shoot on Ferreira too, but Ferreira's got really, really good scrambling, so I struggled to see Hernandez really like keeping him down the whole time, and he doesn't really have the gas tank to do that with Ferreira, like try to compete with him in the grappling. Then he's really going to gas. So I think this fight plays out on the feet, and if it does, I think I favor Hernandez. I just think he hits harder. Think he's a little bit of a cleaner striker. Think he's the faster guy, and I think at this point of his career, he's more explosive as well. But I can understand why the line's flipping. Like, hard to trust Hernandez. Don't really want to overrate him over a win from Chase Hooper, where in hindsight, it does make some logical sense that he knocked him out. And it's not like we got any information there from him in the grappling and the cardio in rounds 2 and 3 there, because Hooper didn't make it that long. So I lean Hernandez just based off of youth, hardware, power. Shout out Dogfather. Power, and I think he's the cleaner striker. But as of now, no play from me. I am going to tape it, though, because I am getting more interested now as the line continues to go towards CDF, because I think we're almost at Hernandez being an underdog. Pinnacle has him as an underdog already. So I do think that he's the side at this point, but I got to tape it. Tower saying Hart wants CDF. That's fair. That's fair. I would say out of the two of them, I'm probably more of a CDF fan than I am a Hernandez fan. Talking about being a fan. If you guys know me, you know I love me some Stoltzfus. Next up, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Gastelum, he's going to be 19, 10, and 0, 33 years old, 5'9" with a 71.5-inch reach. Stoltzfus, 16, 7, and 0. He's going to be 33 as well. Going to be 3 inches taller, and he's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. Interesting fight. I feel like part of me is like, this line's too wide. Gastelum probably shouldn't be minus 200. On the other hand, it's like, what's Stoltzfus really going to do to him? Because like Stoltzfus, he's strongest in the grappling. He's a good wrestler. He's got good grappling, good jiu-jitsu, good control. And it's probably the more physical guy at this weight class. Gastelum, again, we all know he's not really a middleweight, just doesn't want to cut to welterweight. But I struggle to see Stoltzfus like consistently taking him down. And then is he going to outbox Gastelum? Maybe. He's got decent boxing in his own right, but I feel like Gastelum's probably the better striker. Gastelum probably has the takedown defense to keep it on the feet. And honestly, he probably has the better cardio too. I got to tape this one still a lot more, but as much as I love Stoltzfus, I'm kind of struggling to like him here, at least pre doing more tape. But yeah, I think I'll lean towards the Gastelum side. Better striker, more power, and has the takedown defense to keep Stoltzfus from his primary game. But rooting for Stoltzfus, and we'll see. Maybe once I tape it, I can talk myself onto one more dog shot on my guy, because I've played him on in all his fights. I played him against Ruzabov in a fight that he threw away, in my opinion. I don't know if I played him against MAB. I'm not sure that I did. I might not have. Bruno Ferreira, I feel like I probably played him, even though I don't remember. Puna, I did play him against. And Abus, I don't think I played him there. And that was a while ago. Wow. But yeah, I'll go with Gastelum, but dog or pass. I'm not laying chalk on Gastelum. Speaking of dog or pass, kind of crazy the line. We have Jared Gordon versus Rafa Garcia. Jared Gordon, he's going to be 21, 7, and 0. He's 37 years old, 5'9" with a 68-inch reach. On the other side, Garcia, 17, 4, and 0. He's 31 years old. He's going to be 5'7", so he's 2 inches shorter, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. I need to tape this one more, but I have a lot of interest on the underdog. I just feel like, where's Jared Gordon minus 200 over Rafa Garcia? Like, where? I think a lot of this is just the built-in hype after the knockout of Thiago Moises, but like, that's not enough for me. Not for minus 200. I don't think he's going to knock out Rafa, who I consider very durable. Do I think he's that much better of a boxer striker than Rafa? No. Rafa's got good boxing. I think it's going to be competitive on the feet. And are we sure that Rafa can't take him down? Can't get his own wrestling going? Because Rafa's a good wrestler too. I get it. He got completely smoked by Grant Dawson, but Grant Dawson's doing really well right now, and he's a guy who's improved a lot. I know that Gordon did better against him. Maybe some of that is also reflected in the line. But are we really going to do some MMA math here? Like, that was also a while ago, his fight against Dawson. So for me, it's a major dog or pass. It really is. I guess, like, as of now, I would lean Gordon as a pick just because he's been a little bit more consistent. He's maybe the slightly better striker and maybe the slightly better grappler, but I think it's a close fight. I think it's a close competitive fight. I think Rafa can pull off the upset, and it's a fight that I really want to tape more because I might get to the underdog. For now, it'll be Gordon, but this is a fight that I very, very, very well might end up changing my mind on, because like this isn't enough for me. Like, Moises has been kind of done for a while now, even though he's not even old. The Nasrat fight was a solid look. Madsen fight was pretty competitive before the knockout. Green fight, he was winning that fight. And he won the Patty fight. We all know that. And then I get it, but like the Vince Pichel fight was pretty solid for Rafa. The Grant Dawson fight I already spoke about. Glida, Machate, that was a good win. Drucker also was a competitive fight. Yeah, for me, it's Rafa or a pass. As of now, I would just pick Gordon, but I need to tape this one a bit more. Next up, we have Rob Font versus David Martinez. Font 22-8-0, 38 years old, 5'8" with a 71.5-inch reach. Martinez 12-1-0. He's 27, so he's 11 years younger. He's going to be 1 inch shorter, and he's going to have a 4-inch reach disadvantage. I do wish I got to this fight when Martinez was still plus 175, plus 180, because that I probably would have played. I am high on Martinez. I liked him before it was cool. I was on him in the Contender Series. I was pretty sure I was on him in some fashion in the Simon Oliveira fight where people were trying to fade him again. And I've been high on this guy. I think he's really talented. I think his range management is really good. His movement is really good. He's a really slick striker. He's got really nice counters, really good kicks. He has good takedown defense. He can grapple if he has to, although he's not much of a grappler. And he's just a really well put together fighter already, and he's only 27 years old. But he is coming in on short notice. He is at a pretty solid reach disadvantage here, and his output isn't necessarily the greatest. Also, like he throws a lot of kicks, but the output with the hands isn't super high. And I just feel like Rob Font, he's turned away 2 prospects in a row. Kyler Phillips, who I consider better than David Martinez, and Gene Matsumoto, who I know some may disagree, but personally, I feel like right now Matsumoto is probably an overall better fighter than Martinez. But you know, styles make fights. Just because he beat them doesn't mean he's going to beat Martinez. If he struggles to find Martinez, I can 100% see Martinez having a lot of success. If he can maintain that range, maybe use the leg kicks, use those kicks, keep that kicking range. But personally, I kind of lean towards the jab of Font being there all day long. I think Font will be able to cut the cage, close the distance, take away the kicking space from Martinez. And if he does that, then I think Martinez might start to struggle a little bit. So I get it. Martinez is a guy who is a Mexican fighting on the Mexican card, but they're not even in Mexico. So I don't know if you can say he's going to have the hometown advantage. And he is on short notice. He is taking a tremendous step up. I mean, he's going from Simon Oliveira to Rob Font. Huge step up. And now the line is really closed in. It's minus 130 Font, plus 110 Martinez. As much as I like Martinez, and I'm more of a fan of his, I would say, than I am of Rob Font's, I don't know that I'm ready to bet on him at plus 110 or pick him over Font. I just feel like I need to see more from him at a bit of a higher level. And I just feel like he might struggle with Font, and he doesn't have the wrestling to go to if he's uncomfortable. You know, guys like Matsumoto can try to shoot on him. Guys like Kyler Phillips can try to grapple him. And he was able to, you know, deal with those guys too. So Martinez isn't going to really wrestle. And if he does, I don't think he's going to take Font down. And then I struggle to see him being able to actually maintain the distance, maintain the range against someone like Font. So for me, it's Font, but I guess I can understand some of the Martinez love. Isn't it the same notice? I thought they were both scheduled for other people. So I know Font was scheduled to fight, whatchamacallit, Rosas. Who was Martinez? Oh, he was supposed to fight Carlos Vera. Okay. All right. So I guess he's not short notice. Thanks for that one, Tyler. But even then, like, that doesn't really change a ton for me, I guess, because it's like, okay. But I wasn't really super concerned about his cardio anyway. And I wasn't super concerned about his weight cut anyway, because he's not a very big bantamweight. So good to know. Thanks, Tower, for that. But it doesn't really change much for me. I think I'm still picking Font. That's where I'm at least. We'll go Font decision. I don't think he knocks out David. I guess David could knock him out, maybe. Could be some potential upside there, but I lean towards Font getting it done. And all right, we're up to our main event, and a sick main event, really sick main event. We have Gene Silva versus Diego Lopes. Diego, he's going to be 26-7-0, 30 years old, 5'11" with a 72.5-inch reach. On the other side, we got Silva. 16-2-0, 28. He's 2 years younger. He's going to be 4 inches shorter, and he's going to be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. So line has been really coming down after this last weekend, and it's just classic MMA community, or MMA markets rather, where, oh, 2 fight nerds lost. means Gene Silva's going to lose because he's a fight nerd. Fight nerds suck now. A couple months ago, the same people were telling you with a straight face that the Fight Nerds camp was the best one we've ever seen, best camp in MMA, and it was hard to argue. But now, Pratesh loses to Ian Gary, top of the division, one of the top guys in the division. Hoofy loses to BSD, who's a good fighter. And Barrio loses to the number one contender. And now all fight nerds suck. And Gene Silva's going to lose. I know people are hate watching for some reason. For some reason, people also just hate Gene Silva, which I can't really place. I don't really understand why anyone would hate him. Like, he's a little weird, but I like weird. Look at Aspen. Aspen told Dana he'll suck his toes yesterday. I don't see anybody complaining about that. So I don't really understand the Gene Silva hate, and I do feel like a lot of this line movement is people just kind of saying, oh, fight nerds suck now. Time to pick Diego Lopes. But I also get it. Like, I think outside of that stupid narrative, there are fair arguments to make for Lopes winning this fight. Lopes is a very aggressive fighter. Lopes probably the best fighter Gene Silva's fought to date. Not probably, he is. He's a good boxer. He's got good hands. He's got a lot of power on the feet. He's got solid enough kicks. And he's a good grappler. He's got solid wrestling. Not great takedown defense, but he's really dangerous off of his back. His jiu-jitsu is really, really good. But personally, I don't see where Silva's better than, where Lopes is better than Silva outside of the pure jiu-jitsu. He is better there, but Silva's picked up the jiu-jitsu department as well. Nasty front chokes. He's got really, really good striking. I love his striking. I think he's a lot more fluid than Diego on the feet. I think he's a lot more dynamic. Diego kind of has a really square stance too. I see that being an issue for him. I think he's a lot more hittable than Gene Silva is. I think Gene Silva's striking defense is a lot better. I think he's more powerful. Lopes hits hard, don't get me wrong, but I think Gene Silva hits harder. I personally think that Gene Silva is the real deal, and I think that he is going to get it done. I think he could knock out Lopes. I kind of lean towards this being a war that goes over, possibly all 25 minutes, and that's kind of what I'm going to lean towards, Silva decision. But I can definitely see Silva knocking him out. I do think that's on the table. I think Lopes is really, really hittable. I think Silva's got way better striking defense. I think he's got better range management, better distance control. So for me, I got to go with the guy who I think has most advantages here in this fight. And I don't see Lopes really taking down Silva, whereas if Silva really wanted to, he probably could take down Lopes. It would just be kind of stupid because then he's giving him his best path to victory, which would be a submission, in my opinion. But nah, I really feel like Silva's going to get it done. And the more this line comes down, the more interested I'm starting to get. I'm not really running to bet minus 230 because I do rate Diego. I think he's a great fighter and one of the best at featherweight. But I also think he had a really fortunate run up to the title and kind of a favorable run up to the title. And that's why I bet on Volk against him. And I'm not going to sit here. Like, I've heard some people say, like, oh, he couldn't even beat a washed Volk. No, I don't think Volk's washed yet. I don't. And even if Volk was washed, he's still one of the best fighters in the world. So I think it's fine that Lopes lost that fight. If anything, I think that was really good for Lopes because he was just on this crazy trajectory up and never really had a second to stop and develop. And I think that was good for him to get that loss against the best featherweight in the world right now, at least, who's still a featherweight. I get it. Ilya is better than Volk right now, but he's not a featherweight anymore. So Volk, in my opinion, is probably the best featherweight on the world right now, and it's fine to lose to him. And it's probably a good learning lesson. And it's not like he wasn't, like, I don't want to call that fight super competitive because I felt like Volk really comfortably won. But he gave an honest effort, Lopes. He was never fully out of the fight. He was always one shot away from changing the entire tide of the fight. So yeah, and maybe he can do that here. Maybe he can land a big shot on Silva and change things. And who knows? Maybe Silva can't go 5 rounds. We don't know that yet, right? He hasn't gone 5 rounds. He's been fine in 3. He had a good competitive fight against Vallejos, who is also a really good prospect. And he was just fine in the 3rd round. He did great. But we don't know what he's going to be like in 5 rounds because we just haven't seen it from him. I lean towards him being A-okay. And, with Lopes, that was his first 5-rounder against Volk. At least I'm pretty sure. And he looked okay. Again, he didn't win, but he didn't look like completely gassed out, like he had nothing left in the 5th. He was still there. So at least he has a 5-round experience. You can give that to him over Gene, but I don't really worry myself too much about Gene's cardio. I think his cardio is fine. I think he'll be okay. And I think he's going to win the fight. Whether it's knockout or decision, I think he gets it done. Dravi, he loves this Nicholas Oat coach. He's a good coach, clearly. Except all of a sudden, Dravi's pretending that he wasn't the coach for, what's his name? Oki. All of a sudden, he wasn't Oki's coach. Keep it 3-0. Nah, man. Fight Nerds lost Gene Silva. Sucks now. Could even carry over to Caro Brido in a contender series. Yeah, might as well just shut down the gym. You know, they got steps up. They lost their step up. Throw them away. Throw them away. They're no good. And you know what? And if they never got those fights, those steps up, people would say, you know what? They're frauds. They never got a hard fight. Then they get hard fights. Some of them they win. Some of them they lose. Frauds. What can you do? If anything, it gives us an edge, right? Don't lie to me with a straight face, Dravi. I went on his Instagram and I saw Oki was training there, okay? I'm pretty sure you talked about it on your own show that Oki's training there. So I don't want to hear it. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's Noche UFC. Thank you guys for tuning in for this early midday breakdown. I'll go through the picks one more time. I'll specify which ones I haven't taped yet, and then we'll get on out of here. Donchenko's the pick. Super biased, though, and still need to tape a bit more. Pereira's the pick, but I just don't have enough information. Can't do anything with it. Costa's the pick. Reese, Gurule, Suarez, Silva tentatively until I tape it. Todorovic, Luna, Hernandez, but I got a tape. Gastelum, but I got a tape. Gordon, but dog or pass, and still got a tape. Rob Font, Gene Silva. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Peace out, and good luck this weekend.